Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Yay!
Hi, Vanessa.
Hey.
Okay, so we're gonna get this started. Hi everybody, this is Michael Coulomb with Mimosas with Michael. Don't turn the dial, you're on the right channel. I'm here with the awesome Vanessa Esperanza. I said that right, didn't I?
Yep, you said my name correctly.
God,
That's correct.
I'm a big deal, watch out. And we have my special guest and co-host sometimes, Richard Trejo.
Hello.
Hey, Richard, are you related to Danny Trejo by any chance?
Oh no, I wish I was. I should start saying I am, but I am not, unfortunately.
Okay. Is it spelled the same way?
It is. It's spelled the same way. Trejo.
I know he doesn't get any of the donuts. He doesn't get any of that cool stuff.
I don't get any of that shit.
Sucks. We need to get you to meet Danny Trejo and become like related to him so we can get cool stuff.
Then he could be my uncle for real.
I think you should just call him Uncle Danny.
I am.
Uncle. You know, one of my first films was Danny Trejo, actually, which is so weird.
You worked with him?
I'm sorry?
Wait, what'd you say? You worked with him?
Oh, yeah, I kind of worked with him. He was in it, but I didn't really work with him. I was Tiny Lister's girlfriend in this. It was like a film called Low Rider, which they changed the name. I think it's like Perfect Sunday on IMDb. But he was in it, and it was like one of the first films when I first moved to Los Angeles. I was non-union, super low budget, and from what I knew, it never got made because I never got paid for it. I didn't get anything from it.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden, like 4 years ago, I was working at the Beverly Hills Country Club. I was like a spin instructor. And this woman was like, I saw you in this movie. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, it was a Danny Trejo. And I'm like, what?
That's so
she
random.
Rented it from Redbox. And I still like never heard anything from them. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, they made it. It's out. And yeah, that was my debut with Danny Trejo, which is so weird.
That is so cool. I've actually worked with him before too. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's super nice.
Well, that's so cool. Well, I guess we don't have to segue in and tell everybody that you're an actress.
Okay.
that has been answered. No, but how long? Because we'll just start from the beginning. So, where did you grow up?
Oh, well, I grew up in a little town called Columbus, Wisconsin. So,
you're a Midwest girl.
I am from Farmsville, Midwest. So my dad was a dairy farmer. And my brother actually took over the farm. So my entire family pretty much is still in small town Wisconsin.
Vanessa, I come from a family of farmers too.
Really?
Outside of Missouri, on my mom's side.
Oh, that's crazy. What kind of farm?
I don't remember. Probably dairy. I don't know, Mom. What farm did you grow up on? I don't even know because I don't see that side of the family very often. Because I'm from Orange County. My mom's from Orange County. Mm-hmm. But I just know like when we go back, I would go to the farms. They're mostly cattle.
Oh, like a cow farm, or was it like?
I don't know. Probably more like milk. I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna go with milk.
Dairy farm. Let's go dairy farm. Thanks for your contribution, Richard.
Wow, we have so much in common.
What would I do without you, Richard? Richard's like, you mean a dairy farmer? I was like, oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but do you know how to milk a cow? Like,
no, they did teach me, but I have never done it.
Oh.
Damn.
Well, they taught me. I know you just don't squeeze it. You have to like roll your fingers. I feel like. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a process.
Yeah, I mean you do have to squeeze it a little bit, obviously.
Well, yeah, but I mean you just don't like tug on it, like
Yeah.
You got to give it a little squeeze.
Richard. I apologize for Richard. He likes to make everything I say sexually.
Yeah, that's not true.
I mean, you're milking something.
That's true. You are milking. Be it an almond or a cow, somehow you'll get milk.
Somehow.
Yep.
So that's so cool. So then you came out here and you packed a suitcase and a dream and maybe a granola bar and you came out here to LA to become an actress.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, basically it was like a garbage bag of clothes. Not quite a suitcase. But yeah, I came out here and was like, I mean, right out of college and kind of was going to take Los Angeles by storm. But I guess it was hot. It was a nice slap in the face of reality when I first moved here, because everyone's kind of like a big fish in a small pond, and then you come here and you're like, wow, this is an ocean.
Yeah, and you're like a
but I
little
moved
guppy.
here with like black and white headshots because that's what my professor said to do, and like I wasn't union, and everyone was like, oh, how are you not union yet? And all I had were theater credits, so it was just kind of like,
how are you not union? Like, you just got here off the plane and they're like, oh, you're not union yet?
well, I mean, I think
Crazy.
it's because like I was already in my 20s, because I graduated from college, and they're kind of like, how are you not union yet?
Oh,
like,
got it. Okay.
You can't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So
You must not have been here long because you're only like 25.
yeah, you're so sweet.
But you look good. Well, I think you look fantastic. I mean,
Thank you.
You are very stunning. I remember when I met you, I was kind of like directing the reward ceremony at the film festival, and you were our hostess.
right.
So she came in like this beautiful gown, and she did all these funny little one-liners. I thought were hysterical, by the way.
Thank you.
And so that was like my first time meeting you, and I was like, she's kind of fun. I like her. And so the reason why I wanted to work with you is because with Horror House, we're always trying to get really amazing actors and actresses. And I knew you were good, but I had no idea you were amazing. I remember calling Matt afterwards, and I was like, Vanessa's kind of a beast on camera. Like, you were so good. And
Thank you.
Probably one of the most professional actresses I've ever worked with. Not that the set wasn't professional. We just, it's like sometimes when you're just doing stuff with your friends, it's whatever. But I always like to tell the story that when you delivered, 4 pages of like of a monologue. Like, how many pages do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was about 4 pages. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell people, I go, the amazing thing is you were monologuing to 6 dead bodies and a guy tied to a chair, and she knew every single line for every take. It was I was impressive, because I work with actors all the time that like don't always know their lines when they're doing dialogue, and you had an actual monologue.
Yeah.
So that was very impressive.
Aw, thanks.
But you're sad. But you're union now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's kind of what I was drawn to too about the role, was the monologuing, because like, when do you get a chance to do anything like that, and it's crazy because like my biggest concern, like, really was, I always focus on the other person when I'm acting. Like, it's always about the other. Hey, acting lessons for people who don't really know how to act. It's never about you. It's always about the other person. So when you're monologuing and you're talking to people who aren't there, it is kind of a challenge, because it's like, am I going to be able to relate to this? Am I going to be able to have emotion attached to this, like real emotion? You know how some actors will draw the death of their dog, or like something horrible that happened in their past. Yeah. But I think that's like a disconnect. I think when you have to do that, you're not really acting. Like, all you need is the person in front of you, really. And so I was like, am I going to be able to do that when I'm there?
All these actors are dead.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, it's such a fun challenge to be able to like do it. And the writing was so fantastic. And he gave so many levels, that you could do with the character. So even though it was just monologuing, like, it was all pretty much there. You know what I mean? Like, I just had to say the words and everything else came out. So. Well,
no, and you were, yeah. Brantley's a wonderful writer.
Fantastic.
And he and I write together, which I love. But I also like with Horror House, he gets to focus on writing, and I get to focus on directing, which is really fun. So I kind of remove myself from the one aspect of it and focus on the other. And when we were trying to do something different, so the first 2 movies really, Soundbite didn't have any dialogue at all, and then Stock only had 2 lines, so we wanted to come back with something that had a story and lines. We kind of went the other way with like a 4.5-page monologue, but what I liked about you specifically as an actress, not just that you're a professional to work with, not the fact that you, like, once we had to staple you into that dress, that you embodied the role. It was like you even treated the dead bodies that were played by real people as like actual props. Like, you had to pick up Brantley to dance with him. Yeah. But there was this tender moment of when you were talking to AJ's character about what it was like being in love, and you were just so tender with this, like, with him as a dead body. It's very creepy, but I also remember sitting there going, God, this is really touching. Like, you can actually feel this woman's pain and frustration, and how, like, like even though I just thought it was impressive that like even though they weren't reacting or acting back, you were still acting with them. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that
Okay.
totally makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. 20 minutes when I got there.
Really well.
I think, but
well
also I
done,
think the
Michael.
fact that they were real people, because I honestly, like, I didn't know what we were going to have. And like going in, I thought maybe there were going to be props or, you know, when you said they were real people, I think that even helps as well, because it's, I mean, it's still, even though they're not saying anything, they're there and they're exuding energy, which helps.
Yeah.
In the performance. So.
True. And you got to get physical with them because like AJ, you actually pick up and you see the slice in his neck, and then Brantley you get up and dance with. You had to pull the axe from the other kids. So in some way, like those people on that side of the table, you were very active with, and then as well as the other girls too. So that was one thing. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be in one of our movies, and it's doing really well and getting great press.
No, I mean, as soon as you sent me the script and I read it, and I remember because like the weekend prior, I was shooting a rom-com, which is so funny. And then my mom was visiting, and I'm like, I have to read the script. I have to read it because, you know, you want to spend time with your mom, but you're like busy.
Oh, I didn't know you were with your mom.
Well, no, I mean, it's fine. Like she wasn't there. I mean, she left. She obviously left before I shot it, but like, I had to read the script, and I remember telling her how excited I was about it. Like as soon as I read it, I was like, I can't wait to be a part of it. Like I hope I get it, because I mean, I love anytime somebody has a female character that's empowered and not the victim, when usually they are the victim. Yeah. It's so attractive to me. I think that when people play the victim, and for some reason women are always the victim, especially in horror genre, it's such a weak choice. And not just like weak as in she's the victim, but it's just not interesting.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to avoid with Horror House overall. Yeah,
and I mean, I noticed that pattern too, because I did look at the other films before doing it, and I was like, these guys are onto something. Like Richard. You're changing kind of the direction of the genre, which is, I think, way more interesting. Like 100%.
Well, what'd you think of Stock? Because Richard shot that one and did the music.
Oh, I love Stock. In fact,
Richard,
I watched that with my mom because my mom was visiting, and she was like, kind of like while watching it, she was kind of like rolling her eyes a little bit. Love you, Mom, but you were. Because the girl was being stalked, and she just assumed, you know, all of a sudden the guy was going to kill her or something happened. So then when it was flipped, my mom started laughing, and she was really like impressed. She was like, I was not expecting that. Yes, so I think that it like exceeded her expectation as well, because, you know, it's all set up and you just think, oh, this girl's going to be the victim, like every girl, you know?
Right. No, that's what we want. So, what did your mom watch Love Me Not?
Yeah, she saw it, I think via Facebook. She saw it. Yeah.
Well, what did she say? Did she say you were amazing? Because of course you were.
Well, I mean, she's biased. She's my mother, so of course she loved it. She did say that my husband Andy, that he needs to be careful because apparently.
I love it.
Like,
I think a lot of people are saying that too. They're like, "Oh, this woman's crazy. You better watch out." But you know what's interesting is I like to look at the press of the movie and see like who thinks you're like this crazy psycho bitch character, which is kind of funny because it sometimes is interesting because they're just like, "Oh, she's such a crazy bitch," but they never stop to think about like really what got you there, and that was what was important to both Brantley and myself when we did the movie was, yeah, maybe Jenny is a crazy bitch, but it's not like she woke up one day and she's like, it's like all these things led up to this woman, you know, being pushed to a certain edge, which I love exploring that when it comes to characters. But it's not like, I'm not saying maybe your character isn't quite a little crazy, but like,
I mean, she did murder a bunch of people. So.
True. So there is that. But I like that you made her so human because, especially in this day and age when it comes to dating and stuff, it's really tough. It's tough to find people. It's, you know, people ghost you so easily. So it's like there is a level, I think, of frustration, especially with women. I mean, dating's already hard enough. It's, you know.
Well, I mean, I think with women and with men, I think it's going both ways nowadays. Yeah. And like I love the idea that we were both on the same page when talking about this. We're like, she is the hero here. She's not like the bad guy. In my mind, like you can't play a character and expect or even think that you're the bad guy. Otherwise, it's not going to be real. You know what I mean? Like you have to go in justifying everything. But I love the idea that you were like, yes, she's the hero, and we talked about it, and we you can relate to it. And I think a lot of people can relate to it, like who hasn't been ghosted, right?
Yeah.
And this seems to be a pattern that a lot of people are doing, especially with like dating sites where you can easily just new date every day, right? And then you develop a relationship, like maybe you go out on 4 dates with somebody and then all of a sudden nothing. It's very weird, but this is like the norm. And you don't get closure. And I think when you don't get closure, that's when stuff starts to happen.
I know, and it's so frustrating. It's like they're not man enough or woman enough to be like, I don't want to be with you. It's just I'm just gonna delete your number.
Cowards.
Yeah.
Like seriously is like my generation and probably the generation underneath me, because my niece, like going to prom, like kids are texting, like, will you go to prom with me? Like they won't even be asked properly. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's like, just snap me. Just snap me. And you're like,
yeah. Right?
I actually said this to somebody the other day where I said, I actually miss going to a bar and being nervous and talking to somebody. And they're like, that was horrible. And I was like, yeah, but like you could tell then and there if they were interested in you, kind of thing. And I sort of miss that human interaction, because nowadays if you meet people online, you create this like quasi relationship with them, and then you meet them and they're like completely different. And you're like, damn, you're not anything like you were online. And you could have you just spent the last like maybe 2-3 weeks talking to them. So you've wasted all the time. So it's that's sort of the strange thing. So it's interesting to explore that. And that's one thing I liked about Love Me Not. And I do like that we do it in a creepy way. But it's also like a beautiful, because I didn't look at it as like a horror movie in a sense.
No.
I looked at it as like a drama with horror elements.
Like I thought it was like a love story almost, you know?
Oh yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I love that you did. And then we had Nico, our editor, who is also our sound guy, found some royalty-free classical music, and I loved that sort of like. And then Richard did the song in the middle, right when you're killing David with the axe, and then the final song. That was our boy Richard here.
I love the final song. That was perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the suspense stuff is what I was responsible for.
the suspense stuff. Well, he's good at that, and he did all the music in stock too, which I was very impressed with. He's like, I'm just gonna use this, and I was like, oh, it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, it worked out. And I did the end song too. The end song that comes at the end of the credits. The credit song.
Oh.
For Love.
Yeah, no, the credit song. Yeah, he did. I'm sorry, he did the suspense song in the middle, and then the end credit song.
So you like composed all of that?
Yeah.
He only didn't do the classical music.
Yeah,
that was actually royalty free.
Yeah, but you did it in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, the one song I had for the credits I had previously done. I had just done for no reason, but apparently it had a reason. It was this.
I take all of his music.
But yeah, the other one I had already done, and then the other piece, for all the killing stuff, I did on the fly.
Wow.
Richard's a beast as well, like behind the camera. Like with me, like I never stop working, per se. So Richard's the same way. That's why it's so easy to rely on him. I'm like, Richard, I need a song. And he's like, here.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll just have like sound cues that I could pick from, and then we can build on top of, which is really nice.
Totally.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it helps. That's why he does a lot of my movies, and he does a lot for Horror House, because he's really good. And then we get really great press.
Yay.
So hey, Richard, I told this to Vanessa that I wanna be responsible for putting her on the cover of a magazine, because I think she's so dang brilliant.
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
A bomb actress.
Let's do it.
But do we know any magazines that we could put her on?
I mean, let's make one.
Okay, we'll just make one. The Mimosas with Michael magazine.
There we go.
Oh my god.
The Mimosas Weekly.
Like I don't do enough already.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool to have a magazine. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be cool. It'd be like Oprah.
Oh, Oprah. I know, but then I have to give away free gifts.
I love free gifts. Who doesn't?
All right, well there
You
you
get
go.
even more followers.
You can't argue with that.
But I love
You
free
get a
gifts.
mimosa. You get a mimosa.
Oh, trust me. We're gonna have you back on the show. We're gonna totally have real mimosas, guaranteed.
Nice.
But you and I we go to so many events together that we're
Yeah.
definitely gonna have real life mimosas regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, my microphone's being played with. See, I told you it was too low, Richard.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo's cousin. Like I'm literally like it's like in my lap, and I'm like bent in half trying to get to this microphone. He goes, "No, it's fine."
It was fine.
Yeah. Okay. So
I was ditching it down. Yeah, go ahead.
you can't deal with it right now, Richard. I have a podcast to do. Vanessa's taking time out of her today to have mimosas with us.
I am.
Okay,
I'm
so
I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, I know coffee as well.
I want coffee.
Oh, let's get some coffee.
All right, let's,
I bet. Wait,
I'll
wait to do
make
this.
some. I'll make some.
You're the best. So I just have one question.
Sure.
What was I like as a director?
Oh my gosh, you were fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
I just want you guys to know she was not prompted for that. That was legit.
She was given money for that.
You guys want to know
answer.
the real truth about it?
I mean,
Just
if
go
I'm
ahead.
difficult, I want to know because sometimes Brantley will tell a story of what I was like on the set of Stock. I was grumpy that day.
We're gonna do the documentary.
You were grumpy?
I was grumpy on Stock because our producer was out of town, so I was directing and producing.
Oh.
So I kept getting called away, and I was frustrated because I didn't want to deal with any of that crap.
No, I feel like you were very informative. Like some directors don't really direct that much, and you actually you gave me a lot of really good insight, and you changed a lot of stuff too. Like you'd be like, I want you to do it this way, now just do it the complete opposite. Like the scene when I'm laughing and I'm walking in and I'm finally killing Brad, like I'm hacking him to bits.
Love it.
I think remember that whole bit before, like I was still kind of emotional, and you're like, just give me the opposite, and then. Like just the whole, like, I've already cared. I don't care anymore. Like it's already done. Like you're already dead. And it worked really well. And after seeing that, I'm like, oh yeah, otherwise it would have been overkill. It would have been too much. Like she would have no expression when she's saying this, and it worked out really well. So
thank you.
Yeah, I think you had great advice. I think the talks in the beginning, even before we started, were really helpful. And you were really easy to work with.
Aww.
And it was honestly, and I'm going to say this, it really was one of the most best sets I've ever worked on. I had a lot of fun, and I came home and it was really, really, really early in the morning.
I know. I'm sorry. We kept you out all night.
No, it's perfect. But then the next day I remember being on my stairwell and I was saying I had so much fun. It was such a great experience. And it was almost like its own high. I really enjoyed it. And it
for
was
a week after, we all were talking. There was some. I told you there's some sort of I wish Richard, you could have been on that set. There was this magic. I don't know what it was. There's something about just the way it worked. We were just all so in it. Even the extras who had to sit there for all night and not move. Were just texting us afterwards, going, "Wow, thank you so much for that. It was the funnest night." And I'm I felt so bad because they were just sitting there, but they were so elated. And most of the time, they said that they had a hard time sitting still because you would make them cry. They were so emotional while you were acting.
Yeah.
I was like.
Yeah, it was just from pretty much every point of the shoot, even from the point of when we weren't shooting, it was great. Everyone was really, even the fact that, okay, fun fact, the dress did not fit me and we had to cut it and then staple me into it.
Which is the best story.
We had it, my butt was hanging out so many times. But it was everything. I think a lot of people can see one thing in the beginning and then it kind of this happened, and then it spirals out of control, and then the entire night is ruined or whatnot. But even something as major as a wardrobe malfunction turned into this is really working for the character. Everything just kind of fed into making this piece work, and everyone was great, and everyone was nice. It's rare to be on a set where everyone is just on the same page. Usually there's someone who's just
Well, that's why I try to work with the same people from Horror House because we have sort of this end goal, a community, and I'm so glad because I don't try to go and be like, oh, this is all a Michael Cologne film, and I want it to make me look good. I really try to push everybody involved. So when people reach out to me, even if they spell a PA's name wrong, I'm like, that's not how you spell it. That's incorrect. Just because I want it to be right, because I think so many people in movies nowadays. They do a passion project and it's just their passion and they kind of it's my job I think is to rally everybody to be I understand it's a passion project, blah blah blah, but the end goal is I want we're all trying to get Richard's trying to DP more and do music, so is Paul, Nico's trying to do more editing, Ray's we all have an end goal, so I feel it's part of my responsibility to make sure that everybody gets seen for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and it was a very professional set. I've been on sets where people are drinking on the job, which isn't I'm not uptight or anything, but it's to the point where it's you have to do your job properly. I remember going to a table read and everyone was high and I was just what am I doing here?
You're what? I know it's
keep it professional. Why are we here? I'm here to work. I'm not really here to party. I want to have good content, and it's like I want to meet good connections, and at the end of the day, we want a product that everyone is proud of. So
Oh
it's
God,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, if you can't take it seriously, you can't expect me to be taking it seriously.
Yeah.
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 And so like with all the years of me script supervising and making movies, like the technical aspect of filmmaking is second nature. So that's why I try to focus a lot on the performance. And so I'll take that time to set up a shot, and then while the set's being shot up, I talk to the actors, because the more I can do.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I have dogs too. They're really cute. So organic. They just want mimosas. That's why. Richard, that is the loudest chair.
So.
What is it?
Our mail. Sorry.
Oh, the mail came?
Yeah.
Can you hear Richard's chair? This thing is squealing. Richard, your chair is so loud.
It has really good mics.
Yeah, apparently. Just kidding. So I like to, because while you're sitting there getting in makeup and wardrobe and stuff, I can kind of fill your head with ideas of like where we should explore the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sort of let you do what you do, which is you act. So I go back to set and finish setting up the shots, and then you come back, and then we sort of rehearse the scene, and that's when I can see like what choices you've made.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I see what I feel works and doesn't work based on like, it's so weird, I can't explain it, but I can see a specific energy that is given when an actor feels comfortable, like when I know we finally hit like where the character's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sort of like, it's like this unspoken thing, like, okay, you're happy with this. I can feel like your energy is showing that. So then if I feel like that's energy, then I kind of go down that road with it and explore it, rather than like, I don't, it's weird. I think everything I try to do is organic in that sense. I think that's why it feels so real.
I mean, I think that's the right way to do it in
Yeah.
a sense, because I feel like a lot of directors, it's kind of like controlling, like when you control somebody, and sometimes it's like when you delegate, and a director's pretty much supposed to delegate things.
Yep.
You got to let go of control, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you can have an idea in your head, and then someone can bring something. You're like, wow, I would have never thought of it that way.
Well, yeah, and
You're going to, have an end product that was better than what you anticipated before we even started.
which I love. That's why I think the movies keep turning out so well, is I allow the people to do, like, I go to Richard and I go, I need music, and he just watches it and he gives me ideas rather than just be like, I want it to be exact. Because when we originally decided to do Love Me Not, Nico was like, I feel like the script would open up with classical music, like you would put on a record, and it was for the dancing. And I was like, I don't know, let's talk about that after we shoot. So when he did the first edit and he sent it to me with classical music, I was like, love it. Like, I don't even, we never once changed it because he was able to bring that. So the only thing we needed was the suspense in the middle that Richard did. And it's so vastly different, but of course it's a different theme in that part. So I love that collaboration. I think that stuff's important.
Mm-hmm.
So, you, Richard is such a... So, what's next for you now?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure. I mean, I have a couple projects in the mix. Like there's some things I can't really talk about too much, but
Oh, I understand.
apparently there's a film that's going to start in the summertime, and I'll be able to talk more about that, I guess, a little later.
Okay, well, we can always do a follow-up appointment. And then what do we normally ask, Richard? If you could be any superhero? Yeah. We've always asked that. If you could be any superhero, who would you be?
Do I have to be a superhero that already exists, or can I just have like a superhero power?
Yes. I like whatever one you want. Yeah, what superhero power would you want?
Superhero power. I want a superhero power, and I would like to I would love the ability to stop time. But when I stop time, I don't want to continue aging as I stop time. Does that make sense? So if I stop time, like everything stops, but I can still move through time.
Yeah.
That would be like the best superhero power, because can you imagine how many times you're like in the middle of something and you just want to take a nap?
Right. Yep.
Or like you're running late to something and you just drive around everybody and get around traffic, or like you could look something up. Like the ability to stop time is phenomenal. But I don't want to be the point of like, if we stop time and then I continue to age, after a while, it's like I'm going to be twice the age that I was and everyone else is going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like, why do you look?
Yeah.
Like you look
Like, why
60.
are you 80, Vanessa? It's
I know.
only been like 3 years.
I feel like last week you were only 30. That's
Exactly.
funny.
So it's like that would be such a great ability to stop time, I think.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
answer.
That's a very good answer.
And then, for where you are in your career, what would you want to be remembered for? Because you're gonna do bigger and better things, but where you are right now, what would you want to be known for?
Oh, that's a good question.
Besides Love Me Not, clearly, because that's one of the best.
So clearly. It's so funny you say that because I did CSI New York like a long time ago.
I didn't know
and the credit has been it's like my biggest credit, but it was one of those things where like I did it and then I became SAG too soon and then I couldn't get work after it. It's like I booked one big thing and then I had no other credits. And it's like the one thing that I am like, it's my biggest credit. So it follows me everywhere, which I'm thankful for, but it's also, I want to do more than just that. So it's weird because even though that's like my biggest credit, I don't want to be remembered for it.
All right. So we just got to get you a bigger role, a bigger thing to be.
I mean, it's recurring. It's a great credit, but it's like, I would love to be able to do, oh my gosh. Do you know the show Barry, the TV show Barry?
Oh, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Heard of it on HBO.
It's the one with
like,
Harry Winkler, right? Henry Winkler.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's like a dark comedy. Well, I would love to be known to do something to that extent. Like, I know you said, what would you like to be known as now? But it's like, I want to be known as, I want to do something where I'm so happy with it. Like if I did a movie like Harold and Maude, I feel like I could die happy. Like I just want to do one really good film where I'm like, a dark comedy, honestly, is like my favorite genre. Like if I could do that and it was, you just like, doesn't even have to be like super well received. Just as long as I'm proud of it, that's what I would want to be known
I like
for.
that answer. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. Well, guess we're running out of time.
Aww.
I know it goes so fast. I only do like 30 minutes because
That's perfect.
Because people get bored listening to me. I think.
Aww.
No, I'm kidding. But I just wanted I wanted my audience to meet you because I mean it's the same audience that watches the Horror House, but it's also a different audience that listens to the podcast.
Oh, fantastic.
Plus, you're totally awesome, and I wanted to promote our movie and I don't know.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Introduce the world to Vanessa Esperanza. So, what advice would you give anybody before we close out?
Advice, like just general advice?
Yeah, or film advice, or acting advice, or life advice, or motherly advice. I don't know, just advice.
Any advice? I would say, let's see here. You know what? I think that it's, okay. This is going to sound kind of like out of a self-help book kind of, but if you really want to be successful in life, I think that gratitude is probably the most important thing. But then also, kind of be like, wow, I wish I was more eloquently speaking about this, but just.
I'm the least eloquent person, don't worry.
I know, but kind of like you be impeccable with your work.
She's like, we know, Michael.
I'm like, no, you talk really fast. Like you have really good diction. But I guess what it is, it's like, be grateful, be in the moment, and, really always do your best no matter what it is. Like even if you're waiting tables, even if it's whatever it is, in that moment, do the best that you can possibly do, because that energy that you're putting in that moment will create bigger and better things.
Yep.
I think it's when people are constantly thinking of the lack that they have or the things that they don't want, or like, oh, I'm pushing pasta or I'm waiting tables, I'm not really acting, whatever it is. Whatever you do the best you can do. Like I literally had coffee with a casting director and he was like, I remember you waiting on me at Maggiano's. Like he was like, you were really good at your job, which is good because you never know who you're going to meet. So just be grateful wherever you are in life, and be impeccable with your word and just do everything to the best of your ability.
I love it. And then what's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Okay, yellow. That's it. We're gonna end with that.
Gratitude is the right attitude.
Gratitude is the right attitude. Oh, you're adorable, Richard. Aww. Well, it was such a pleasure having you on our little show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh no, it was my pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your day. And then where can people find you? We'll also add it, but where can people find you?
Instagram. I am at Sasperanza.
That is true. Sasperanza.
Sasperanza. And then pretty much that's my handle for everything. For TikTok, at Esperanza. Same thing with Twitter, and then Facebook, Vanessa Esperanza.
We're gonna put all that on there. But thank you for being on here.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you later, everybody. This is Michael Colomb with Mimosas with Michael. You can find us on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. We're now on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio.
Nice.
Coming up next.org. We play every Wednesday, which is today. Just kidding, today's Sunday because I recorded on Sunday.
It's Sunday.
But it's Wednesdays at 4:30 Central Time. They always play, so this one will air probably next Wednesday. All right, well, have a great day, Vanessa.
Awesome.
Take care. Okay,
Bye,
bye.
Vanessa.
Bye.